Real estate gurus are out here waking up at 2 a.m., doing cold plunges, launching companies, and quietly vaporizing their investors' money. The market's weird, the rates are weird, and it's time someone told the truth.
We're in an interesting time right now. We give real estate advice. We have a mastermind, and people in our mastermind are crushing it. They're doing great. We're also pretty picky about who we let in, but there's a lot of gurus out there selling either business advice, buy businesses, or buy a lot of real estate gurus out there. You know, half their day they're selling their wares and their courses and their knowledge, and the other half they're, losing investors' money because they bought things at 4 caps in the run up, and they thought interest rates would stay low forever, and they can't refinance, and they're literally vaporizing LPs investments. So Mitch and I raise capital, like that tightens up capital markets. People are leery. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, there's a lot of people out there. There's some guys on social media. I forget the name. I have to pull it up. Who's hilarious. He makes fun of like the gurus. So I get up at 2 a.m. and I do my 6 cold plunges and start my 10 LLCs and crushing life and making $1 bazillion and 10x this. And I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Like, we're in a weird time. You got the rates are weird. The market's weird. Like, what do you think?
I was going to say it's the Wild West, right? Like, I mean, you have you have formal education, first of all. I love how formal education, like these colleges, they just kind of fly under the radar and they charge $100,000 for philosophy degrees, and people get out and they work at Starbucks and they're screwed for years and years and years. And everyone's kind of like, they tell the next kid, oh, go to state college or private college, go what a blah, blah, blah. And then like, somebody tries to offer like actual good information or mastermind like ours, right? And they charge money for it, and people are like, oh, that's terrible. I think there are some bad actors, right, in the guru space or mastermind space or whatever.
Like who are the bad actors in the real estate guru space, Mitch?
I mean, what's that? Well, I think you guys know. I mean, I have a buddy named Landon. I don't know if you guys know him, but like I don't think he's a bad actor, but he's made some mistakes. But there's another guy. I'm not going to name his name. There's another guy. I don't know why you're shaking your head. There's another guy I know. I won't name his name, but he's charging a ton of.
Rabbit Siller. Don't listen to that guy. I changed his name to protect
Rabbit Schmillard is a terrible man.
What's happening on this podcast, guys? What is happening? Okay, look.
All I'm saying is the Wild West, man. People. There's bad actors in every single industry, but like I also think like. Look, if you're going to join a mastermind or follow some guru or read whatever that is, like just figure out who they are. Do your research. Find somebody who is inside their world and is signed up for their mastermind. Like talk to people. I mean, just don't blindly sign up for anything. Just like don't blindly go to some college and get a bad degree. Like do your research. I think it's kind of buyer beware, right? Isn't it on the onus of the buyer to like understand that and to figure out who that person is?
Look, my intention isn't like, I'm not on here necessarily trying to give real estate advice. Like I like to share stories. Real estate has done a ton for me. And I've shared before, like, I'm not in love with real estate. I'm in love with life. I'm in love with, my wife and my kids and the ability to have freedom and to move as I please in this world. I love to travel. I care about my family. I care about my freedom. I care about my health. And real estate has allowed me the time and energy and the freedom to focus on those things in my life that are important to me. And I think sometimes people forget the mission. They forget like the actual dream. I'm not on this podcast. I'm not involved with the mastermind because I'm so passionate about real estate in and of itself. Real estate, as Travis always says, is the great equalizer. And it's so true, right? I don't know any other tool that has been able to create wealth among, an average person, an average man or woman who wants a little bit more, or sometimes a lot more than just the status quo, just the average of go to school, get a job, work your entire fucking life until you're too old to enjoy it. And real estate has given me that. Real estate has allowed me to, I feel like, experience life to the fullest. And that's what I want for others. And yes, there's things and lessons I've learned in the 20 years of investing that I can share and pass down to newer investors or younger investors. And I love doing that. I love pouring into people, but it's the life. It's the life that I'm excited about. It's the freedom I'm excited about that I really want to share. And so I guess I say all that because I'm more cautious when these so-called gurus are teaching one thing, but they're not living the life that you would want, right? And so I think it's far more important. Look at what people's lives are. Look how people live outside of the real estate world versus, what they're teaching about real estate if they're not living the life that you would be interested in living.
But how do you know that? I mean, these people show their life. They're showing their Instagram life and things look great and there's rainbows and butterflies and they're on a beach and then they get off Instagram showing their life and scream at their kids to go away because they have to get back on their laptop and work. I mean, how do you know what their life looks like? I mean, how do people know what our life is like? I'm not out sharing what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So, but I agree with you. Like if you want to achieve the result somebody's professing to teach how to achieve that result, like make sure they're living the life that you want. But again, I mean, I'm just like, if people are listening to this, how do they, because I agree with Mitch. I just went to my nephew's college graduation and there's a lot of, I'm cynical in the background. I'm like, what a fucking waste of money and a giant, colossal waste of time a lot of these kids went through to get these stupid degrees that don't do shit for them and will do nothing for them in life. But like, so alternative education is great. I love alternative education. Mitch, we were just talking about this offline. There's a statistic where alternative education, like, podcasts, courses, things like what we do in our mind is growing. It's a multi-$100 million industry.
It's $400 million a day is what it's at. And it's growing toward $1 billion a day.
Which is cool because I believe in this, but like if someone's like out there going, yes, Gabe, I agree with you. Absolutely. I want to do what Gabe does. I want to do what these guys do. I want to use real estate as a vehicle to live the life on my terms and take control. How do these people navigate what information to download, what information to process? Because there are a lot of people full of shit. And Instagram and social media, I think, is really amplified that dichotomy.
If you like what you're hearing so far and you are not making at least $120,000 a year with cashflow real estate or have millions of dollars in equity, come check out our 0 to 100 elite community. The link is below. Check it out.
Well, Travis, there is a lot of people full of shit, and it's why you actually have to get around people. I mean, I don't go to as many real estate events as I used to, but it's, I through the years have gone through a lot of real estate events, and you meet people and you're around people and you meet some that you're like, they're literally living the life that they preach. Like it's pretty obvious, pretty fucking quick. I mean, I've spent a weekend with, around hundreds of investors, and it's pretty easy when you're around that to see who's living an authentic life and who's not, who's actually doing the things they say they're doing and who's saying it to look good on social media. Right. And, is that hard to see if just online? Of course it is. Like none of us are putting most of us aren't putting our shit online, right? Like are our lives perfect? No. Do we have great lives? Absolutely. Right. And going back to the education piece, like I think education is super important, but people get school mixed up with education. They get school mixed up with learning. And, I think about the Jim Rohn quote that a formal education will make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. And I think about that all the time. And it's not only about like self-educating financially, but it goes back to like, what is the life you want? And if you're following someone that doesn't have that life, if you're in college and you're taking a class on real estate investing and the professors never invest, I don't even know if they have real estate investing classes, but they've, never invest in real estate, business class where they've never owned a business, like you should question that, right? But now you meet someone that has had 7 failed businesses, but they just kept persevering and they had 3 successful ones, like that's probably someone worth listening to. You can learn from their mistakes. You can learn from their failures, and you can learn also from their wins and their successes. And real estate's the same way. I mean, there's gurus out there that have flipped like 2 houses, and then they realize selling courses on how to flip houses is more profitable for them than actually flipping homes. Like do the fucking research. Like that's not someone that you want to follow. That's not someone you want to copy unless you want to be the one out there selling courses, right?
But if people can't get around somebody like you did, Gabe, if they're just trying to figure it out, maybe they can't afford to fly somewhere, pay to get in the right rooms with people. I would also advise like people that are if it's all butterflies and bunny rabbits, right? If it's all rainbows when you're listening to their podcast or you're reading whatever they're putting out there, and if it's all great, especially in this last few years in real estate, for example, I would be dubious. I think people that are transparent, that are saying, yeah, like we did the thing, we messed up here, we missed this underwriting, we missed our return targets for our investors, or I'm really struggling, I'm having to fund this property, this went wrong, the refinance went south, the appraisal came, like, because if it's all amazing, they're full of shit, I believe. And people that are transparent, and you hit it on the head, Gabe, like when they're sharing hard lessons learned and they have the humility to share that with their audience, those are the people that I'm listening to. It's like when you ask for a reference for somebody, I always ask like, what went great, but then what went wrong? And then how did they respond when things went wrong? And how did they navigate? And how did they solve those problems? I think that might be, if they can't get in the rooms, that might be the next litmus test. Because we share that on our show. Like, Gabe, you and I fucked up huge in Oklahoma City. We invested with guys that screwed up. They lost a shitload of money. We made mistakes by investing with these guys. We didn't do our diligence on the guys that were operating the assets. Like, I think maybe we should even be more transparent on the good and the bad, because real estate can be bad and it can be tough. It's not a perfect equation. And to Mitch's point, it's the Wild West. So maybe listen to people that are showing both sides of the coin.
Well, the other thing too, if you're gonna go join a mastermind, or you're gonna go take a course, whatever it is, go talk to people who have done that or inside that mastermind, who are taking that course, or right, like understand their results or their opinion of that. The second thing though is, like, we have a buddy named Shane, right, who flips homes, super successful guy. He took a weekend course that he heard on the radio. He paid whatever, $350 or whatever that was, for a weekend course on how to flip homes. In the same class, I guarantee there's people that would say that was a ripoff. But yet Shane makes, a lot of money, biggest flipper in Sacramento, because of his knowledge based on that weekend course. So there's also a massive onus of responsibility on the buyer of a mastermind or a course or an event or whatever that is to actually go do something. This is not like you pay and then like cash falls out of the sky. There's a lot of like energy and effort and action that goes behind that. And I think a lot of people love to think they're going to pay for something, and they're just going to be like, oh yeah, I took this weekend course and now I'm an amazing investor. Or I've been part of this mastermind, I paid the fee and now I'm just incredible. And I'm going to be rich because of it. And then 6 months later, they're like, it's not working. Okay. That's not how it works. That's not how life works. So I think there's a reason that the 99% are always going to be the 99%. And some of those rise up to the 1% because it's backed by a study, action, showing up, building relationships. There's a lot there that I see some people, not everybody, but some people they're not willing to do that. And they want some easy route. And I don't know if there is an easy route. Like, I don't think real estate investing is easy necessarily. I don't, like, it's not easy. Like, you got to work at it.
Well, it's not easy. And I also think that people feel accomplished when they maybe give somebody their credit card, buy a course, and they're like, yeah, I made a move today. I made a move. And you're right, you did make a move, but that's just the very beginning. To Mitch's point, you have to put the work in. We see a lot of people that want to pick our brains, consume our knowledge. We tell them what to do. This is the thing you got to do. The network, learn the tactics, the education. And they're like, great. And then you're like, can I pick your brain next week? And you're like, go read this book first, like our 0 to 100 book. And they never read the book. So yeah, you're right. There's follow on, and it's not easy. It's a lot of work. You got to put the work in.
If you multiply knowledge by 0 action, there's 0 result. Like, you have to have knowledge times action equals result or success, or what do you want to call that? I mean, I went to school, college and high school with people that were way more, like, way smarter than me. Way better, like, operating systems. They were so fast. They can memorize. They like, anything I went up against with them academically, they just crushed me. But then they had no action, so they took all the knowledge times 0 action, and it equals nothing. So, like, their lives reflect that. So it's like, yeah, go study, go read, listen to this, buy a course, go to mastermind, do the things, but then pair that up with massive action, and that's where you're going to actually see something.
Yep, gentlemen, I love this. I love this conversation. I love the direction it's headed. We do have to jump off because it is 11:30 Pacific time. And for the next hour and a half, we get to pour into our elite members. It's live Q&A day. So we're jumping off this podcast. So we're going to jump on with our elites and just pour into them for the next hour and a half. We'll see you guys next week.